Hi, welcome to Angels, God, and Me. And I'm your host, Mary Amy, coming to you live. I agree with the notion of compassion to all living things. We are all connected. Our actions matter. Karma is a cycle of cause and effect. Virtuous actions create happiness, and non-virtuous actions create suffering. The forces of good and evil are prevalent in our daily lives, yet angels are immortal, celestial beings traveling from the heavens to earth, protecting humanity. Perhaps the conversations of angels with humans throughout history suggest existence. Those prophets and saints speaking of divine visions delivered messages of hope. Truly, with hope, we can endure most anything we encounter. On our show, we have guests, we have topics related to celestial beings, empathy, tips for a common peaceful spirit, myths, legends, Bigfoot, UFOs. We have visualizations and meditations. On today's show, we have a guest coming from Bermuda. She's lovely. Her name's Astraya. She's a divine feminine activator. But before Astraya joins us from Bermuda, I would like to do a relaxation visualization, and we will create vivid mental images in our mind's eye, bringing positive emotions such as joy, happiness, and hope. Blessings. Our intention today is to visualize yourself into a better mental state filled with emotion of joy. This is valuable if you are feeling unsettled or distressed. Let's realize connecting your mind, body, spirit to divine light will shed darkness in yourself and unblock your true purpose and passions. Your go-to nature scene begins now. Please find a quiet space, sit or lay down comfortably. Let's begin to relax your mind and your body. Let's breathe out old energy and thoughts. Let's deeply breathe, inhale and exhale 3 times. Let's do this together. I'd like you to scan your body for stress or tension from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. I'd like you to imagine the most glorious nature scene that you can imagine. Maybe it's a beach, a waterfall, a field of flowers, a forest, mountains. Now, this vibrant visual location will bring you joy. So I'd like you to pick a place that only brings you joy. And I'd like you to engage in what you visualize. All the details of your senses. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What do you see? What do you hear? The colors of nature. Smell the air. Feel the freedom and see the beauty. Feel the sun beaming down on you. Now let's remain in that moment so that you can connect to your beautiful nature scene. You are letting go of the past, all the moments before this, any anger, fear, sadness, or stress. And you're looking forward to the future. You begin to feel better emotionally and physically. Let's breathe out the stress. If you have to say or talk, whatever it is that's bothering you, let's breathe it out. And let's breathe in joy and new beginnings. I will count backwards and you will open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Now, what I suggest is that you practice, you go to this beautiful nature scene whenever you can think of it. To start, try doing it for 5 times a day. So you might do it for 30 seconds. And every time that you see in your mind's eye this beautiful nature scene, whatever it is that you've chosen, you will instantly feel joy. And you're going to reprogram your brain. Now, the next time that you feel stressed or upset, maybe you're by yourself, or maybe you're in a situation that makes you uncomfortable. I'm empathic, so if I'm in a situation that I'm struggling in, whatever it is, it just like engulfs me. So what I'm suggesting is, whenever you're upset or you don't feel well, visualize the nature scene, and then you will change the way your body reacts. So if you're in a situation and an altercation with someone else, or they're saying something that you don't feel well, it doesn't make you feel well, I want you to just, without sharing this, to just go to that, and you will change the energy around you, and the person that you're with will feel the shift. It's really an interesting thing to do, and it helps calm you down. Okay, well, I would like, it changed my vibration and my energy. I just want to add that. So I would like to share, before our guest comes on, because she is coming on really soon, I'd like to share with you a Buddhist prayer. Now, this Buddhist prayer I got from the Meditation Handbook, and this has been a very good source for me to connect to a higher vibration and thoughts. So here we go. The precious mind that cherishes all living things protects both myself and others from suffering, and brings happiness and fulfills our wishes. So again, the precious mind that cherishes all living things protects both myself and others from suffering, brings happiness and fulfills our wishes. So just focus on the meaning of that. I'd like to touch on, before Astraya joins us, I'd like to touch on some interesting topics that are kind of related to what I do and what she does. And it's about fortune telling. So fortune tellers grew from folklore, the Romani people. It was the late 17th century, and they were known as gypsies that traveled the world, and they held seances and told fortunes, spoke to ghosts and spirits. And they predicted the future of someone's life. Now, this has been dismissed by scientists and skeptics and non-believers as false or superstitious. Yet many forms of future predicting has been established, such as astrology, Christomanology, crystal balls, face reading, I Ching, divination, numerology, palmistry, pendulum reading, and tarot. Now, I am what's called an intuitive empath. And I have an instinctual knowing, I sense things about people in their lives before they tell me. I have open channels for seeing and hearing, and I get spiritual vision or premonition dreams. Now, a psychic I'll just pull up another picture for you guys. A psychic is a clairvoyant and has spiritual vision or inner sight. And that's a phenomenon unexplained by natural laws. Telepathy and clairvoyance are psychic powers, and then they tell the future. Here's a little diagram, and it has a lot of the different fortune telling. Now, healers, which I also work as a healer, specializes in the healing arts for pain, diseases, chronic disorders, and balancing the body's energy flow, like I'm a Reiki master. An empath is a highly sensitive, gifted, emotionally person that absorbs and senses others, people's feelings and emotions. It's a person who has an emotional state of another individual. Now, also, there's what's called a medium. And a medium sees and communicates with the spirit world, receives and relays messages to the living world. Our guest today, Astraya, she is a divine feminine activator, and she empowers our spirit. Divine is related to God, and divine powers are supernatural insight into the future events. When we say feminine, we speak of sensitivity, gentleness, supportiveness, humility, empathy, emotions, and someone who's devoted. Now, an activator initiates a process. So I'm guessing that Astraya is a catalyst for bringing out and empowering our femininity. She's going to talk about spiritual realms. She understands the third and fifth dimension, which are levels of consciousness. And I have a quote I found. Dimension exists at the same time and occupies the same exact space. It's just a different vibration or frequencies of energy. So let's welcome, and I'm going to bring her up. Let's welcome Astraya. And how are you? Joining us from Bermuda.
Good morning, Mary. Good morning. I'm wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm like stumbling a little bit through this. I don't know why. I guess I don't know if I'm tired. I've just a lot of change lately in my life. So how are you? What's going on?
Oh, it's so lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I don't know if I introduced you properly because I know you're going through some transformation, and I wanted to stay on your intention. I want to hear about what you mentioned to me, which is the source of the womb. But before that, I would really like to have us have an understanding for the basics with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned the fifth dimension realm, and I had read that you spoke of legions of archangels. Do they exist there?
Yeah, they do. So, the fifth dimension really is, we all have access to the fifth dimension because I believe that we're all channels, that we're all conduits. And we're here, especially in this incarnation, in this awakening of the current age, where I feel like there's a fall of so many heightened beliefs and polarities that aren't of divine universal truth.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by divine universal truth is the spirit of your soul essence, not the concepts of the linear mind. It's multidimensional in the realms of there's so much more to you than meets the cognitive eye or meets the cognitive brain. And how I work on accessing that is through the dimension of the heart, to take you from this 3D dimension to a higher dimension, which is what we call 5D, which truly is just unity. It's love. It's unconditional love. It's pure love. And love exists really without the constraints of the brain and the mind. Love exists between time and space. And love exists simultaneously across all timelines and dimensions of our existence. So there's so much more to the soul than what the human eye has been taught and programmed to believe. Yeah.
I love what you just said, because it kind of gives everyone hope that that it's possible, that they can feel serenity and love and acceptance. So, okay, let me ask you, what source, or technique do you recommend for people to kind of connect to this, or direct wisdom or guidance, and maybe you've received heavenly messages related to this? How can we get what you know about?
Beautiful question, because it's really important that every single one of us has access to be able to understand and feel, like tangibly feel what that feels like. And there's so many tools and there's so many practices, and one of the most direct practices that we all have is nature. Nature is abundant, nature is fertile, nature is the concept of divine feminine universal law. And when we look to nature, nature is never of lack. She's constantly reproducing, resurrecting, rebirthing, evolving, even through the complete degradation and segregation to what humanity has done to her. She never stops growing, and she never stops believing, and she never stops reproducing. If we look to Mother Earth, she's a symbol and a mirror of our own innate, unconditional love. She continuously loves. So to access her, one of the wonderful things we can do is literally barefoot grounding, barefoot earthing. And that's just putting your bare feet on the earth. It's so simple, and we can all do it. And the reason why it's so incredible when we put our bare feet on the earth is because there's a magnetic frequency that runs through her to us. One of the things I teach a lot of women that I mentor is to actually put your tummy, put your womb on the earth and lay there. And I've guided a lot of women through this process. And what happens is they go through an emotional cathartic release where they shed tears. There's wounding that comes up because Mother Earth is healing. And when we can actually fully surrender to her and drop out of the mind, right? Because the mind will tell us, this isn't going to do anything. What is this going to do, Right. But there's a lot of mystery when we let go. There's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of magic when we actually let go of what this could do to me or for me, and open up to the possibility of that infinite love that she carries. Yeah, and there's no more really other evidence than I can give you is to just go out in nature and be present and be slow. Take your time. Allow yourself to look and feel with eyes of a wondrous child. We have to return back to innocence. We have to return back to, and this is another thing I talk about in my leadership, is talking about erotic innocence. When you look at a newborn child, and when you look at a 3-year-old and how they go out in nature and play, and there's this ecstasy in how they receive information. They're in awe. They're in awe of the beauty of true existence. And that presence that is within each and every one of us is the most fertile, erotic, human element within you, because it's very human, that can take you to the next dimension. But we have to trust the innocence of believing. Yeah. And connecting that innocence of believing with the fullness and with the abundancy of Mother Earth. And that right there is magic when we fully commit and devote ourselves. Like devotion, that's another word that I speak to. Because a lot of us get lost. We get lost in the matrix of the doing. And we forget about the being, about the instinctual, primal nature of just being. And beingness is a miracle. It's a miracle elixir to me when we can actually devote ourselves to becoming more present with a sense of beingness. It's more of a yin practice rather than a yang, which is do, achieve. I've got to create this result today, which takes us out of the heart and up here into the concepts of the brain. And I'm not saying the brain is not something that we need, because we do need it to survive on this planet. However, it does not take us to the entryway of the divine. It doesn't have a direct access because there's so many karmic imprints within our energetic body that has told our brain that it's not safe to do that. Yeah, it's not safe. Or if I let go of what this is going to look like, how am I going to feel then? How is that going to make me feel? And that might bring up a lot of emotion. And that emotion is the space where I come in and I hold you to take you out of the contraction into the expansion of becoming a receptive channel and conduit to access the fifth dimension, which is exactly what you are. You've just forgotten.
I understand what you're saying with nature. I believe that truly about nature. I want to do what you just recommended and see what happens to me. I think that it's about people. You said yin and yang. About it. It's about pausing and feeling. And if you're doing, you're not embracing all of you, and you're not necessarily living in the moment all the time. And what you're describing, I think, probably makes some people uncomfortable because it's letting go. If you let go, what's going to happen? And then fear comes in. So I guess if you can take that first step, and then maybe you can kind of tell us next time the next step after you lay out there on the earth. You have gifts of which I mentioned about different kind of fortune telling or intuitives. You have gifts of the sixth sense, clairsentience, clairvoyance, supernatural ability to know future events, and clairaudience. You hear sounds beyond us. How does that connect and give you knowledge for source of the womb?
Yeah, beautiful. So when I connect with females, particularly because my audience is women, but that's not to say that the men here on this call have this co-creative ability. If you even don't have a womb, you exist in the realms of co-creation because you're a co-creative being. Okay, so I'm talking to you too. So the womb, and for men, that's just your sacral chakra, which is located 2 inches below your belly button. The womb and the sacral chakra is responsible for co-creation. It's responsible to multiply life. It's responsible for you to go out there in the world and connect with people. It carries this very sensual sort of watery element. It's a quality of water. It's a quality that absorbs information more than actually, is in the doing aspect. So we go to the womb to absorb and to receive information. I call her kind of like a stargate or a portal.
Okay.
And there are 2 ways in how we can really relate to her. And unfortunately, for a lot of women, she's acted as a psychic dumping garbage bin or a psychic dumping ground, because most of the time when we absorb or we're interacting or we're existing, most of us are quite asleep. And if something hurts us, if something disturbs us, the womb will just absorb it and hold the information there and hold it for decades, for lifetimes actually. And so because she's got this absorbing nature, she's a very psychic channel. She has her own soul or her own heart, and she's constantly communicating with life on an interdimensional level. So she's communicating before you. She's already taken in the external reality before you even conceptualized it up here, because that's how smart and intelligent, and she's an antennae. Yeah. She also can co-create life. So she can literally absorb information and birth new life. That right there to me is a miracle, which is why I'm drawn to working with the womb. Because if we can all create an intimate, loving, conscious relationship to the womb, how we receive information and how we channel it will be more integrated and more conscious if we listen to her intelligence. Because she has way more intelligence than we've given herself credit for. And I do believe that a lot of how we interact with her when it comes to even birthing, we don't give her the credit that she deserves.
Are you speaking Astraya? Because I want to understand this. Are you speaking of us personally, our wombs? Or are you speaking of like another energy out there? Because you say source of the womb.
Yeah, so I'm speaking directly to the womb. So the womb that's within you, within your
Okay. Okay.
And beautiful question, because that's a gorgeous question. Because the womb that is the source of all source, right?
Okay.
So as much as, okay, I'm speaking directly to you, to your womb right here. I'm speaking that way so that you conceptually understand it. However, when we go into that womb, it literally ripples out to the cosmic womb of the universe, which is why, again, I connect with your tummy to the earth, because your womb is no different than the womb of our planet, right? So that is the multi-dimension, the full spectrum of your co-creative ability. Now, if we all accessed that multi-dimensional co-creative ability, all that you desire, wish, and want will be magnetized to you with this work, with going deeper and understanding a tangible, living presence that is of the womb. Now, the womb shows me so much information, past lives, lifetimes, imprints, karmic debt, the karmic debt that you've brought in. And what I mean by that is it's something you may have lived in another lifetime that really traumatized you. It didn't traumatize you in this lifetime, but you carried it in. That is one of your ancestral imprints that you are living through today, and you reincarnate over and over and over until you clear that aspect of your lineage. The womb holds all that information, and what I mean is she really is a psychic portal. She absorbs and receives and holds that. And that to me it's a miracle, that's a pure miracle. And why wouldn't we want to connect with her and go deeper and really feel the depth of the full dimension of who she actually is, and communicate and discover deeper self-love, deeper respect, deeper worship. A lot of us need to actually go into forgiveness work with the womb, because the womb is deserving of that, and Mother Earth is deserving of that. And really, that's what I stand for, and that's my birthright in what I stand for in serving and leading women. It's through the portal of the womb, because that's the source of all source. It's a rite of passage.
Do you, because it seems like a process that you would need some guidance. So do you have some kind of, you have a group or something that people, or is it like one-on-one, or is it a group, or is it, I know you were doing retreats for a while, or you were for a long time, but now I don't know how that has been. So how can people kind of move forward with what you're saying?
Yeah. Right now, I have been doing a lot of group work. Right now, a lot of my work is virtual and online, and more one-on-one. I have been doing a lot of moon circles and new moon and full moon circles, which are all beautiful, just exercises that we can actually do and events that we can participate in right now, as we're in the middle of global collapse right now. So I would suggest to just get online and see what's out there and see what's capable for you right now in the accessibility of your own home. So please don't feel, disheartened with the fact that, oh my gosh, I need to have a tangible, direct experience with someone. Right. You can have that direct experience at home. And something I would really suggest you to do, even like a practice that you can do right now, is to bring your hands to your womb. And I like to take like this divine feminine mudra, which is yep. And you can bring your hands to your womb.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And let's just take a deep breath in, inhale, and exhale out. And just soften your shoulders, soften your facial muscles, relax the tongue in your mouth, and just bring all of your awareness down into the base of the spine, into the direct seat of your co-creative potential. And just feel this deep gravitational pull of Divine Mother pulling you down deeper and deeper into the earth of thyself. And just take a moment to just place your hands a little bit more firmly on the womb, just nudging her and acknowledging her for holding you up until now. Feel the warmth that's on your hands that meet the womb, and feel the warmth that is within the womb to meet your hands. And just take this moment to breathe into the vessel that is your womb, the vessel that is the source of all life, the vessel that is the source that birthed you, and the vessel that is the source that will take you and return you back to all of that which you came from. And breathing in that beautiful light pouring forth from the heavens above you and the earth below you, crystalline dimensions of light. And on your next inhale, you're going to breathe into the womb, this beautiful vortex of light coming down from the heavens and in from the earth simultaneously at the same time. Taking a sweet breath, breathing in. And as you exhale, reclaiming all of that power into the womb. And you can repeat after me. I love you.
I love you.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I love you.
I love you.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And just take this one moment to feel, to hear, and to sense any subtle whispering messages she has for you. And breathe into it. Feel your body soften a little deeper. Feel your skin begin to melt into delicious waves of translucent openings. Imagine that even your skin is beginning to crack and layers are beginning to release. Whatever that has come before you, whatever that will come ahead of you, is nothing in comparison to that co-creative birthing power within you. And if your womb had a voice, what would she say? What guidance would she offer you? What wisdom would she generously pour into the luminescence of your soul? And just take this moment to listen and breathe. And we'll take one more breath here. Inhale. Open up the mouth and let a big sigh out. Sliding one hand to the heart, keeping one hand on the womb. Connecting these two feminine centers. That is the access to your feminine power. And bowing here in reverence to discovering a new way of being from the womb and the heart of your femininity. And you can just bow your head in gratitude extending your love with the possibility of loving yourself in ways that you can never imagine or even fathom up until now. And know that you're safe and that this is allowed. And you're safe to grow and expand and evolve and illuminate beyond ways that you've never done. And that is okay. Take one more breath with me, inhale. And just release and let go. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I get it now. Oh, that's a really good technique. Wow. So emotional. Like, I couldn't even open it. I said, oh, I got to hold off on this. I can't do it right now because too much for me. So when you said what is when you see, I guess before you said the voice, all I saw was purple. I don't know what that means. I just saw lots of purple. The voice I didn't get because I don't know. I don't know because I'm also trying to do this. So I don't think I'm really free wholeheartedly. But later I'm going to do it again and watch you back. Wow. That's amazing. I can see how connecting. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing you just taught us. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, and try not to be disheartened if you don't hear or sense or feel anything at first. Like with anything, it's like riding a bike, right? We have to get used to the balance. We have to get used to holding the, the handlebars and with anything in life, nothing just happens overnight. We have to be consistent in our practice. Consistency is key, right? We have to wake up and do the same thing every morning, whether that's your meditation or, your movement practice or whatever it is that connects you to your spirit. Don't give up. I wouldn't be here if I gave up.
Right.
I'm here because of 20 years of dedicated devotion.
I feel like that's one of the next thing, what you just showed us is for me, myself, one of the next things that's coming up. And this was validation because it was the last few days, similar kind of, not the same thing, but in the same direction. And I guess it's about coming to terms with who you are and acceptance and self-love. So I was going to ask you about, you said to me prior, ritual, prayer, embodiment, pleasure, femininity. You kind of just gave us an example of that. And what?
Pretty much in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, you did the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Wow. It just came to me, this question. All of your gifts, did you have someone, I read that since you were a child that you had abilities. Did someone mentor you, or is this all on your own that you found the way? Is it a miracle? I mean, how did you get where you are?
I want to go back to self-empowerment because we all have this ability and you have this ability. I believe that we are all a conduit, we're all a channel, we all have access to spirit. And yes, I had a bit of a leg up, I guess you could say, because I do come from a family of healers as well. And I had a near-death experience at the age of 2.5 years old. And that was my first sort of like conscious awakening, and a lot of dreams and a lot of repetition encounters with spirit came to me after that. But if I had stopped and not explored it, I wouldn't be here. So absolutely, yes, I fully 100,000% encourage you all to go out today and get a mentor, because nobody knows yourself more than you. Yes. However, we all need support. We all need a mirror to just hold ourselves accountable. Be like, did you do this today? How did you maneuver around this aspect? And what are you doing to help yourself through this area of your life that you're struggling with. We all need support. We are not meant to do this alone. Why you and I are right here having this co-creative conversation, because we're better and more powerful, more unified together than we are alone. So please do not suffer in silence. Please do not hide yourself in a cave. Please do not quiet your gifts or refrain from believing in your magic, because you all have magic and you are all enough. And that is one of my biggest teachings is make yourself visible, make yourself seen, and even if you're afraid to, have someone hold you accountable so that they're like, we need accountability. We need that. I can't force that enough, because I wouldn't be where I am today. And also I want to speak on, if you do have a gift, you need accountability even more, because you came into this lifetime. Every single one of us who actually have lived lifetimes with gifts in previous lifetimes have a lot of fear around that, because there was a lot of persecution in other lifetimes. And we're in a lifetime right now that is actually granting us this liberated voice where we can come on here and talk about it.
I know. It's awesome.
It's
awesome that we have this. And, you know, with the way the world is right now, we've all kind of slowed down. Yeah. And this is the perfect time before things get busy again, for us to take moments and learn from people like you about how we can have a transformation, and we can have forgiveness, and we can learn, and we can have knowledge about more of our past than we realize.
Absolutely.
It's on the surface. So before we go, I want to just make sure, is there anything that you want to share with us or tell everyone, or recommend, or just, I don't know, something?
Yeah. What's coming to me is to believe in, just please don't hand over your power to somebody else. Please don't give away your power to the system. Please redirect and call back your power within, because there's a lot of external illusion right now in the world. There's a lot of external delusion, illusion, and manipulation that we can't control. But we can reclaim how we react to it. And when we can come away from the duality, like there's a lot of duality right now, who we should be believing in, who we shouldn't be believing in, what's right, what's wrong, that really doesn't help us. It keeps us contracted and very much limited. So the best gift that I can invite you all into is to your heart, is to your womb, and is to your soul. That is way more intelligent than what you're hearing on a screen, or what you're hearing through third, fourth, fifth sources of information. Like, take this time to go within and to sense and feel. We have to come into the feeling. Feeling is everything. When we learn how to feel, that's your superpower, right? The mind isn't your superpower, but your emotions are. And I invite you to open up that feminine, instinctive knowing, that psychic sense, that wolfy sense, that wolf within you, you know. The feminine is very primal, she's very instinctual, and she knows. She simply just knows, because that's what she's here to do, right? You never see a mother like doubt her instincts when she knows her baby's crying, or she knows who, like, that femininity. And men, this is for you too. You have that same ability. You have that feminine instinctual knowing, but we have to trust it. So instead of giving our power to external sources, stop, take a moment, breathe, and redirect your lens back to you. Like, how do I really feel about this? Like, why am I just believing in what's in front of me when I haven't even gone deeper into the spiral behind it? like, does this resonate with me? Isn't it in alignment with my truth? What is my truth? Do I even know my truth? Yeah, these are all like very powerful questions that takes you back to the source of you, which is what you're here to be and become, is self-empowered. You are not here to be a muppet or a dummy and listen to somebody else. You're here to learn and to discover the true depths of your spirit, which is why you came to this planet. And that is really what I can offer you.
That was a serious side of you I just saw. I mean, you are serious, but you know, I mean, I thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just put up a little picture because I thought it was feminine and it was kind of showing light, how we all have our own light. We all have our own light.
Thank you.
And it's beautiful, everything you said. And I validate it. And I am so grateful that you were here today. And, you know, if we just take a moment and try some of these techniques and recommendations from people, individuals like you, I know we would all be happier and more content people. And we would all see what's really important.
It is happiness and joy.
Happiness and joy and love. We can find Astraya at her website, which it's doing a transformation, but it's there and it's beautiful. Sister, how do you pronounce that? Sistars?
Sistars, like a star. We're all stars.
Sistarsoflight.com, and her Instagram, beautiful Instagram, Sistars of Light as well, and Facebook, Sistars of Light.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for at this early hour coming on, and I will definitely text you after because you said some things that resonated with me that I wanted to tell you on a personal level. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
it's been
you.
an honor to come and share. I love you lots.
Love you. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. I think I've learned so much, and then she tells me something that I had no idea about. Okay, so before we go, I just wanted to do our gemstone, and today our gemstone is, and it's kind of a nice little symbol of what we just talked about. It's rose quartz, which is the stone of universal love. It restores trust and harmony in relationships, encouraging unconditional love. The rose quartz purifies and opens the heart at all levels to promote love, self-love, friendship, deep inner healing, feelings of peace. Physiologically, the rose quartz stone is considered a powerful healing stone. It has been suggested it can improve circulation, boost neuron conductivity, and even accelerate healing. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And if you can, please like my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, Mary Amy Official. You can contact me at maryamyofficial.com. Let's construct only positive thoughts, words, and actions. I'm wishing you a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Next week, we have psychic. We have a psychic, and his name is Michael Edley, and he is from a family of gypsies, and he's been a psychic since he was a very young boy. So we will have him on, and we have someone calling in, and he will give a reading to them. So thank you again for joining me, and have a wonderful day. Bye.